Before I run through the waypoint tutorial, I'd just like to stress the importance of actually placing no waypoints at all. This can be an effective way to make the AI a little more dynamic and respond when seen by a player. Sorry, when they see a player. The benefits of putting AI down with no waypoints basically means they will act on their own. They'll go and do their own thing when they have spotted an enemy. This isn't good if you place AI in an open field. A player viewing this AI will look a bit stupid. They're just going to sit there doing nothing. However, they are much more effective when placed in sentry positions, against walls, in buildings, or in this case, outside nearby a building. The AI will react accordingly when they spot the player, and engage, and even flank if necessary. We try and make ourselves seen. There he is. So, if we then crouch, press escape, switch to spectator, this will give us a spectator camera where we can safely investigate what these AI are doing without having to get shot at. So we can see the AI attacking covering positions. They are waiting on my contact. If there were more of them, they might send a team out to start flanking me. The AI on their own without waypoints can be very effective. However, to make our mission more natural and flowing, we can put down waypoints to move groups around. By default, all groups placed down have a default starting waypoint. This can be edited by double clicking on the group, and we can see we can change their combat mode, behavior, formation and speed mode right at the start. We can use shift and right click, as the tooltip implies at the bottom there, to place down additional waypoints. The AI will then run through these waypoints until they either see an enemy or take contact, as long as their behavior is not set to careless. As the tooltip implies, a behavior set to careless will not switch to aware or combat mode after spotting a threat. In reality, this is only good for units you do not want to react to enemy fire or pretend the enemy is not there. A good example for this would be to make a chopper pilot land, so if players or AI do engage him, he doesn't get scared and fly off. Other than that, you shouldn't really be using the careless behavior mode. Always set to either safe, combat or aware. Stealth, of course, also an option. The units will go prone, take formation and use cover. Definitely good for ambushes. Each waypoint by default will inherit the previous waypoint settings. So all of these will inherit the previous because none of them have any specific options set. We will simply be inheriting their starting states. We can change the placement radius and completion radius of waypoints. They can be useful at times. Typically I don't use these too much. The waypoint state we've obviously covered. The expression is for advanced scripting. I'm not going to get into this at this stage. We'll just pretend it doesn't exist. And finally, skipping right over just to get to the waypoint timer. This is an incredibly useful feature. Basically, we can set timer values for the AI to hold at the waypoint. As the tooltip implies, they will hold at the waypoint until it is considered complete, which is when the timer will expire. I like to use this to set it to 5, 10 and 15 just to simulate a squad pausing at their marker. We can also edit multiple waypoints at once. For example, these two waypoints here, if you right click with control, if you control and click on these to select multiple waypoints, then right click and then go to attributes, you will then be able to edit both waypoints at once. I'm going to also give these 5, 10 and 15 hold points. So the AI will walk up to each of these waypoints, hold for between 5 and 15 seconds, and then move on. When they reach the end of the waypoint, they will hold and get no further orders. So what we're going to do is we're going to make them cycle around this waypoint indefinitely, and that uses a new waypoint type, the cycle waypoint. If we place a new waypoint down, double click the waypoint, we can then pick cycle from the list. Full details are given on each of these waypoints in the wiki. For now, the cycle repeats the nearest waypoint and starts the process all over again. By moving this over the actual initial starting waypoint, we can now have a cycle forming where the unit will forever patrol around this square. We can then move this around the building, and the unit will then patrol around this house indefinitely. One final thing to change is by default, if we click on the group itself, their behaviour is set to aware and speed mode set to normal. This will cause them to jog around the waypoint and maybe not look too effective. So we can change this by setting the behaviour to safe and speed to limited. They will then walk around the house with their weapons lowered, and it will look like they're much more natural. As before, we press escape, go to spectator to view the action, and we can see the AI is now nicely patrolling. A couple of these groups copied pasted on various buildings can provide a nice immersive area to simulate patrols in the area. By default, if you copy a group, it will not select the waypoints. What we have to do is we have to select all the waypoints manually. Having selected all the waypoints, I can now press Ctrl and C and Ctrl and V to paste as many groups as I want. So we can have various patrols moving around each of these buildings. It is important to note that these patrols will not actually communicate with each other. They have their own waypoints set. They all act independently from each other. If this squad were to take contact and this squad were not to hear it or observe the contact, they would not react. This can be a little bit annoying when units set on a long patrol route end up walking into a contact area, such as life with the AI. To get around that, we can use the guard waypoint, which is a new waypoint type, and the next one we will cover. So, guard waypoint types. We have 3 AI groups placed down here, each patrolling their own houses. As we covered before, by default, they typically won't respond to each other unless they are in audio range of the contact and observe the contact. What we can do is we can place down a group on guard mode, which will respond to any enemy contact on the map. If we place down using shift and right click to add a default waypoint, we will double click and choose guard from the list. A group on guard will respond, as I have mentioned, to any threat anywhere on the map. This makes them excellent to put down as QRF forces. If we move this far away, we have set them to guard mode. We need to do nothing further. And I'm going to put a larger group to signify more of a threat. Fire team. No, let's go for a squad. So, we are going to take this squad forward and engage the contacts. What should happen is the AI will spot us, and because it sees we are a much larger threat than what they currently have, they will hopefully call in reinforcements. The reinforcements will be these chaps here. Unfortunately, a 4-man fire team against a squad might not make them move. So what we're going to do is we're just going to beef up their size of their squad a little bit and give them an Ifrit. I'm just going to change this to an HMG for it, and then I'm going to right click and group 2 to form them as one large unit. Now if we jump in and start engaging these contacts,
Soldier, 100 meters front. Soldier, 100
the AI
meters front.
will call us out if we switch to spectator mode as usual. We can see those contacts were eliminated very quickly by our group. Hopefully they had time to get our warning message out. We can see our group to the north here are just doing their own thing on their patrol. They have completely ignored the contact going on. However, we can see that the AI guard force has started to mobilise and is already heading out on the way. I can't stress the importance and power of guard waypoints enough. They are very, very useful at making the AI provide effective and varied support. I typically have a few of these guard groups spread across outside the map, ready to move into the AO if they deem the threat necessary. We can expand this further by using a guard waypoint with timer values. For example, if we set a move waypoint and change the timer value to say 10 minutes, this will mean the group will hold at their waypoint for 10 minutes and then 10 minutes later they will become available to call on support. This is very useful if you wish to have AI moving into an area after a delayed time. If we were to play this mission now, we would be able to engage these contacts, and provided we clear these out within 10 minutes, this QRF would never arrive because there would be no AI to call the guards in. We've covered move waypoints, cycle waypoints and guard waypoints. The last waypoint we're going to cover is the search, seek and destroy waypoint. The seek and destroy waypoint is a more specific version of the guard waypoint, which will basically allow an enemy squad to move into an area, and what they will do is they will scan the area for any contacts, investigate nearby buildings and just generally patrol the area. These are easily configured. As before, if we put these to safe, we can have them just scan a general area. The seek and destroy waypoint will basically scan area, I think it's around 50 meters from the current waypoint. Previewing that, if we go to escape, spectator once more, we can see the group will move up to their waypoint and they will start scanning the general area around it and check that it is safe.